brought all these into the classroom. And after about a year of doing this and getting these results, the principal said, okay, I'd like you to teach what you're doing to the other teachers, which I did. And then eventually I got hired to teach teachers all around the Midwest. Eventually got hired by the Snowden Foundation to work for them and was running seminars for educators. And then one day, this one teacher, the principal actually of a school, said, here's the deal. My husband's company needs what you're teaching the teachers here. I said, really? Self-esteem, self-confidence, and goals. Said, yeah, they're not doing well over there. I said, well, I never worked in a corporation before or a company, except I worked as a floor sweeper in a General Electric plant where we made stator motors for refrigerators in Indianapolis, or that's the Fort Wayne, Indiana, where my dad was living at the time, between college and graduate school. And she said, they're just big kids in suits, and I go over and teach them. So I did. So basically, what happened was I started doing corporate trainings, and that took off, and literally I worked with corporations, FedEx, Microsoft, the US Navy, all these different organizations you've heard of, Northrop Grumman, Siemens, TRW, Virgin Records, the Los Angeles Dodgers, and on it goes. And along the way, you probably know I've read a bunch of books, Chicken Soup for the Soul, which you heard from today, and 600 million copies now in print, 51 languages, and also the Success Principles book, which a lot of you have copies of now, so I encourage you to actually read it. And what I'm going to suggest to you is that if you really want to take these principles to heart, is to create either a reader partnership or a reader club, where literally you take one principle a week and you both agree to read it, or your small group agrees to read it, and then you talk about it and you put it into practice. You practice that principle. There are usually activities associated with it. And you practice that for a week. Now there's 67 principles in the book, so it would take you a little over a year to do that. I was working with a company in Chicago a number of years ago, and the president of the company had read the book, decided I'd take one of my seminars called Breakthrough Success, came back to his company and said, I want everyone here to read it. And there wasn't a lot of excitement about that. So he started a book club, and he said, look, I'll give you all a $500 bonus for the year if you do attend this book club and read a chapter a week over the course of the year. And a bunch of people signed up for the book club. And over the next 5 or 6 years, everyone that moved up in the management, senior management, C-suite, etc., were people who had been part of that book club. So we know that these principles work if you work the principles. That's one way to do it, is to go ahead and to work with somebody. It's much easier. We talk about accountability partners. Think about this as you're a manager. If you have an accountability partner, someone that you meet with once a week by phone, it could be email, it could be Zoom call, whatever, but face-to-face, in some form is better. And what you do is you agree to support each other in your goals, taking action. And like, I recommend really, if you want to go for it full force, you go every day, you meet for like 5-10 minutes by phone, in person, whatever, and you agree to do 5 action steps to achieve your goal. We're going to talk about a breakthrough goal in just a minute, what that means and why it's so important. And what happens is, if you do that, you've got someone holding you accountable. Now, you all are managers. Some of you are mid-levels, some of you are higher, but you probably have someone you report to, and they hold you accountable for the things that you agree to do for them. But a lot of times, there are other things that we need to be doing to develop our career, to develop our group, to work in collaboration on finish a project. And sometimes we're not being held accountable enough. We always say, inspect what you expect. So you want to be looking at your results on a daily basis. So let's say you're my accountability partner. I would say, here's the 5 things I'm going to do, or if you want to just agree to 3, whatever, in the next day. Little action steps I'm going to take. And then the next day, I have to report to you, did I do them? And if not, I don't get to give you excuses. You simply say, are you willing to recommit to them? Everyone I know who works in a accountability partnership or a mastermind group, which will meet maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks, of people to look at what are the problems I'm facing, what are the challenges I'm facing, what brainstorming can we do? Everyone gets maybe 5 minutes of an hour-long meeting, or 10 minutes if it's an hour and there's 6 people, and you solve problems for each other, you support each other, you encourage each other, you share resources with each other. That level of support, which often doesn't happen in an organization, literally moves people up very quickly in terms of success, achievement, and so forth. So I strongly encourage you to do that. So this is the book, The Success Principles. You've got it. If you don't have one, get one. And take it to heart, really apply it. I promise you, we've sold millions and millions of these books, and I get emails every single day about the value of what's in there. What I'd like to do is talk about a couple of key ideas that are in the book and share them with you just to give you a little bit of a sense. Remind you, some of you will know these things I'm talking about, and there'll be others of you that are going to be kind of new. If it's something you already know about, ask yourself, am I doing it? If it's something new, ask yourself, am I willing to try it on? You know, life is a series of experiments. You try something on to see if it works, if it helps. So, yeah, I